LeBron James's free agency decision reportedly came after an emotional and carefully considered process, ultimately leading the veteran superstar to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers. According to Rich Paul, James's longtime agent and CEO of Clutch Sports, the four-time NBA champion experienced an emotional journey throughout the decision-making process before officially choosing Philadelphia early Friday morning. Speaking on the Game Over podcast, Paul confirmed that James seriously considered four teams during free agency: the Philadelphia 76ers, Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Miami Heat. Each organization presented a unique opportunity, making the decision one of the most challenging of James's career. You can see from the end of the season the emotional attachments and how hard it is to go away from a Miami and go away from a Cleveland, said Paul on the Game Over podcast Friday afternoon. Who wouldn't want to play with Steph Curry and Draymond Green? I'm seeing the emotional roller coaster every single day. Paul's comments offer insight into just how difficult the process was for James. After spending meaningful chapters of his career with both Miami and Cleveland, the emotional connections to those franchises remained significant. At the same time, the possibility of teaming up with established stars on other contenders made the decision even more complex. According to Paul, every team involved appeared to gain momentum at different points during the process. However, Philadelphia gradually emerged as the destination that best aligned with James' goals. One of the biggest factors was the 76ers' evolving roster following their reported trade for Jaylen Brown, a move that significantly strengthened the team's championship outlook. Another important element was James's long-standing relationship with Tyrese Maxey, who is also represented by Clutch Sports. While Paul acknowledged that familiarity played a role, he emphasized that the overall basketball fit and the organization's ability to compete at the highest level were central to the decision. Why did LeBron James choose the 76ers? According to Rich Paul, James ultimately chose Philadelphia because he believes the team is positioned to compete for an NBA championship immediately. Paul explained that the reported decision to move Paul George in exchange for Jaylen Brown, combined with an already talented core featuring Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and rising prospect VJ Edgecombe, gave James the confidence that Philadelphia offers a legitimate opportunity to contend. Paul also expressed confidence in head coach Nick Nurse's ability to maximize the team's talent, while integrating James into the system without limiting the impact of the other stars on the roster. Paul said, "Helps Tyrese in terms of pick-and-roll action. I think Nick Nurse can take a little page out of Ty Lue's book and use Tyrese as the screener. When you talk about a guy like VJ Edgecombe, he definitely helps him." If the move unfolds as expected, James's experience, leadership, and versatility could add another dimension to a team that already features elite scoring and defensive talent. Analysts are likely to watch closely to see how the chemistry develops and how Nick Nurse adjusts his rotations around one of the NBA's most accomplished players. Were other teams in the running? Paul also mentioned the Minnesota Timberwolves during the podcast, noting that they were among the organizations connected to James during portions of the process. However, he clarified that Minnesota was not one of the final four teams James seriously considered before making his decision. With James now reportedly joining the 76ers, attention shifts to how Philadelphia's revamped roster will perform in the upcoming season. Expectations will be high as the franchise looks to translate its star-studded lineup into championship contention. As always, the true impact of any off-season move will ultimately be determined once the games begin. But this reported signing is already shaping up to be one of the NBA's biggest stories of the offseason.